Okay, March 17th, Founders Metals released another hot headline here from another not quite new discovery, second big discovery hole from Van Gogh. They released the initial one a couple weeks back there. I got Colin Pageant, Katie McKenzie from Founders here to talk through it with me. You two are over in Europe, so thanks. I know you're just there to go wow the Swiss with this story. It doesn't take much, but thanks for taking the time to come chat. So yeah, Colin and Katie, how are you doing? And thanks for being here.
Yeah, great. Thanks for having us, man.
Great. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, so I think let's jump into it here. I mean, you just released, here it is, right? I'll jump down so people can kind of get a sense of what's going on here, right? From Van Gogh, obviously it's exciting when you get 7 meters or 28 meters of 7 grams and 72 meters of 2 grams out of the same 2 of the first 4 holes. There's a cross section from Van Gogh, but it's none of this has been historically mined at all, right? No historical workings, no active workings, as opposed to up here kind of further north where you get lots of the, that more, you're chasing artisanals as a pathfinder mineral onto themselves, right? So, obviously it's super exciting. Yeah. This is another one of these big hits that, just continues to kind of define Founders. It's just big hit after big hit and big discovery after big discovery. But here I am already going into it. But I guess, no, Colin, Katie, maybe just, do you want both of you, maybe Colin, I'll ask you first, but just walk us through this discovery at Van Gogh. Walk us through what's happening here right now and the significance, and maybe Katie, I'll let you in and try that afterwards too.
Yeah, so I guess first thing, you're right. Da Vinci, Van Gogh, like that area of the property, historically under or completely not explored. Da Vinci, we did have the benefit of some small scale mining. No, nothing active for decade plus kind of thing, but there was some. We were finding gold where someone else had mined gold, so there was a pretty first order indication of gold mineralization there, at least some. So, following up on that, certainly has worked out. Van Gogh though, and this is really the big takeaway, for this target is that it is a 100%, original discovery to Founders, and for the area. There's not too many, in the first 4 holes, 150 plus gram meter drill intercepts on areas where there's no historic mining, there's no historic drilling, there's no historic exploration whatsoever. This is a brand new discovery. So that makes it, I think, especially exciting because we really, it's still early. People are kind of coming along for the exploration ride with us, I guess, as we put out these holes the way we're doing. We're figuring things out. But we're finding lots of gold doing it, so it's a lot of fun.
I would just add to that, it continues to show the tier 1 potential and the scale of Antino. And analysts have quoted we have north of 2 million ounces at Upper Antino, and then you start doing math on some of these other targets, and you get to tier 1 pretty quickly. So.
And I'm not sure who it was, somebody along the way. It's not a matter of how big is Upper Antino, it's how many Upper Antinos are there. And I think that's it's a challenge for the industry or for the sector to kind of keep up with the story that's kind of so aggressively successful as this one. But I think, yeah, precisely now that if you're starting to make brand new discoveries, it's exciting. This is a heck of a story. Anyway, so maybe the question I had though, and so I'll skip down here. So, Van Gogh 1, Van Gogh 4, they came back pretty darn good, but 2 and 3 were, you can see here. So 2 and 3 went, I believe it was east, and then 1 and 4 went west, basically. And you interpreted that. Maybe I'll pause. I have a more specific question I'll ask prior to that, but maybe I'll just ask generally right now, based on these 4 holes, what are you maybe seeing? How is this guiding your interpretation or understanding of what's happening subsurface here at Van Gogh? Colin, I'll ask you that one.
Well, here I'll give you a little. First, kind of the background on this discovery. So, geophysical signature that we found interesting from the regional work. That's pretty coarse. Then lots of interesting structure in the LiDAR data. Followed up, prospector channel sample. That's the one that you see at surface there. Obviously at surface in the saprolite. Then early January, we got out there as quickly as we could, try to be as aggressive as we could with getting a drill on it. First drill intercept, that interval starts at 18 meters down. So that's in the saprolite as well. So above that oxide limit line there. We then, we're learning things as we go when it comes to drilling. Once we get into the fresh rock with that first hole, we start to get structural data from the oriented core. All of the core that we do, or all the drilling we do, is oriented. And but we don't have results back. And we drilled that hole much longer than we had originally planned because there was a lot in it that looked very interesting. Shearing textures, sulfide, variable amounts of sulfide down the string. So it wasn't 100%. What is going to run here? It was a first hole on a brand new prospect. We were learning things, and so that four is on the table while we're drilling 2 and 3. And then getting more data from that structurally. The outcome of that was that, it looks like the better orientation to come at this would be from the east drilling to the west, which is what Van Gogh 4 is. When we did that, we actually wound up hitting, that 72-meter interval starts, quite a bit further along than we had originally anticipated based on some of our surface measurements. And now we're in a spot where we think that hole 2 and 3, simply put, that they came over the top of, what would be a relatively steeply dipping structure. Whether it's right in the news release there, one option is that there's a bit of slumping in the saprolite or in that oxide material. If there is, it's a movement, a matter of meters, nothing significant, but enough that, in hindsight, everything's perfect in hindsight. It would be great if we could magically move those, hole 2 and hole 3 collars, back to the west, say 40 or 50 meters. But that's what we're in the process of doing now. So that's how exploration works. And, you try things, but in no way means that things are, killed in either direction. It's a 72 meter. Well, actually, if you add in the 9 below it, you're upwards of 90 meters of mineralization over that interval in fresh rock. And something of that scale, it's unlikely geologically that it just disappears. So, lots to follow up on.
Not just an anomaly or one off there. So maybe the natural question, I've got 2, and then I'll move on after that. But obviously you're one hole into it at depth, so you can't give a firm understanding of true width. But is it? I think typically you were previously 75% or so at other targets. But do you have a notion of how perpendicular you lance this thing right now?
Yeah, I think in the press release we wrote we wrote 85%, and that's 85% would be extremely reasonable. We do. And that's still, it's based on this many drill holes, so there's that caveat. We could learn something, totally different with the next couple. But these systems, at least at Antino, they typically are subparallel to this kind of dominant fabric that we see in the rock. And because we have that oriented core that I mentioned, we do have a handle on, what that true thickness should be. And so I don't think that that's far off the mark.
Oh, excellent. And then the other one too is returning out of 2 and 3, saying you just kind of missed above it. What's the evidence there? I won't be able to kind of pursue you too much into the geotechnical worlds, but in terms of are you just tracking different precipitated minerals or like something in the lithology, or is it just based on kind of other targets and discoveries and what's above hole or above target, below target? What's your evidence there?
When we say we came over the top, the biggest evidence is that there was no gold in it. But, no, but what we're tracking, there's a couple of things. So the structure is important. And here at Van Gogh, some of the broadest shear zone or structure that we pretty much ever drilled is here. Now, not everything that's a shear is mineralized, but we see evidence of a very, very large scale structure. And so that evidence, that deformation, that shear continues between all the drill holes. The part that we want to find and want to track is the part that has the sulfide in it, that really drives the grade like we have in Van Gogh 4, and that would have originally driven the grade in the stuff in Van Gogh 1. So, those are the things that we're really, really chasing.
No, excellent. And then Katie, I'll throw in this one to you. Where are you at? So there's been 4 holes reported. How many holes have been drilled at Van Gogh? Or I guess maybe more generally, can you give us an update? What's waiting at the lab right now for you to get back?
Yeah, so we've got 3 holes at the lab right now, and we'll drill 10 holes at Van Gogh before moving the drill to another exploiting target. And where else
are drills turning right now then?
So we run a drill at Lawa. We have a drill at Van Gogh. Lawa, just for some context, just started drilling there last week. And then we have one at Boise and then one at Upper Antino as well.
Yeah. Okay. Busy, eh?
Yeah. And then this drill is going to kind of leapfrog over the Lawa South drill and head to Lawa North. We've got kind of the heavy part of the rainy season coming up. So we want to make sure that we get that first pass of drilling done before that happens at Lawa. And then we'll move a bit closer to home with those rigs, and target things like Maria Giralda, Parbo, and there's a couple of other, interesting things that don't have a white rectangle around them, in areas like between Upper Antino and Boise, and then between Boise and Lower Antino. So there's lots of work for those drills. And that's all going to be kind of part of a first pass exploration, kind of counter-ish clockwise loop on the property. And, from that, we take stock of all the things that, where do we put the meters going forward from there? How do we best spend those meters on continuing to grow, either things that we found, like Van Gogh. There's no scenario where we don't come back to Van Gogh. I can safely say that. But we have to keep the train rolling, or we won't be able to test all of our targets. So that's what's coming up.
Well, heck, this is right here. It is just in the news release, right? Allocating up to 50% of your meterage this year to high priority targets in brand new areas, and so this is not. You're looking at 30,000 meters or more of discovery drilling, which is pretty enticing number, I'd say. Eh?
But that's really rare. I think it's worth stressing that that is not something that companies get to do very often. Typically, juniors, explorers are so beholden to the market, and of course, we are as well. We're not immune to that. But we have, the success at Upper Antino. We have the success of these other areas, Boise, Lower Antino, Van Gogh, Da Vinci, that we have some liberty there where, we're going to drill some things, I'm sure, that we don't find gold in. There's not literally gold in everything. Hole 2 and 3 kind of prove that point. But, it does provide us a lot of opportunity for some brand new discoveries. And, we've got the support from shareholders to get out there and test things and show what the potential is. What moves the needle for founders is new discovery. Like through and through, it's finding more of these and, showing the potential in general on the property. We're not going to, over the course of the year, drill off every single one of these targets to the degree that we have Upper Antino. That would be a much larger than 60,000 meter program, but we can hopefully answer that question as to how many Upper Antinos there are. So.
Mm-hmm. Suriname Day, we saw you two briefly in Toronto. It was nice to see you. It kind of ships passing the night sometimes. It's pretty busy in this industry, but Suriname Day was pretty neat. I was very glad I got to go see it and check it out. And just lots of intelligent sort of conversations happening there. But maybe, Katie, I'll ask you first. You just want to discuss Suriname Day in general, Suriname Day specifically, or just PDAC in general, in terms of what you saw from investors or kind of questions or feedback or response that you were having there from people?
Yeah, people are excited. It's the most excited I've seen the market in a long time. In terms of Suriname Day, that was received very well. Founders had planned that and organized it because we thought it was important for our shareholders and our audience to get just some context on Suriname, education on it. And then, so we had government present, which was, I think, really great. And then we had technical expertise showing the potential of mineral endowment in the Guyana Shield, Suriname and Guyana. And then we had companies present as well.
Yeah, you and Greenheart and Miata, if I wasn't mistaken. And Colin, any additional thoughts there?
Yeah, I think PDAC, it seems like the numbers are getting back up there fully, or just about fully pre-COVID numbers. And just the sentiment in general is very positive. Particularly in our space, at that point, getting pretty close to $3,000 gold, and now we're north of it. Mm-hmm. People were excited on that front. For the Suriname Day piece, I heard nothing but positive feedback. Founders team, Katie, Pascal, did a fantastic job putting it together. And it went off without a hitch, so to speak. And it was very, very well attended, kind of standing room only. And we had the government, there speak first and go through just details around some of the policies, some of the procedures around claim staking, concession rights, etc., which I think was refreshing or good for people to hear and understand. And then, I actually wound up, getting a question later in the day when Michael Gray with Agentis here was kind of doing a panel discussion with myself and the fellows from Miata Metals and Greenheart. And asked about that exact same process, and I was able to say, well, look, they showed the steps, and I can, attest to having gone through almost all of them with the application that we have in. So, it's nice to pull it all together. Yeah, I think overall it was very well received.
Yeah, a huge demonstration of interest. And I think that Guyana Shield, even though there's already, quite a few very well endowed operating mines, still, I think people are still waking up to the potential down there. One last question here. I mean, this is from this is your sneak peek into Suriname Day. Just grabbed. I mean, there's a few different slides, and it's a photo of a PowerPoint presentation screen, so you'll excuse the kind of digital graininess. But I mean, here it is, right there, top. So 100 plus gram meter per ton holes. You just released another one today, so another +1 for Founders Metals. Maybe the only question I have for you is, this is the last 12 months. How many from the Guyana Shield are courtesy of FDR.V?
I think we might be 24 or 25 of those today. So could be more than that. Is it bad that I've lost count? I'm joking. I think we're 24. Yeah.
So that would put you bronze medal globally as a company for. All right. Okay, that's not bad, I guess. Okay. All right. No, good. That was the last one. Yeah. So there it is, right? I mean, that's my Michael Gray there, courtesy, this came from him at Agentis, made a point that a lot of, the movers and the shakers and the tier ones and the people that are actually going to be, executing M&A to take over projects such as this is one of those metrics that they look at as that's kind of how they define or interpret or understand sort of tier one potential, so to speak. So I think we're in good hands geologically and with the company. But anyway, I think that's it. Katie's having some audio difficulties, but I'll give thought to Colin briefly. Anything that you want to just say in 30 seconds here before you say goodbye?
I mean, I think we've covered the big parts. I mean, there's going to be lots more news coming. The drill results keep on coming here in the near future. Expect lots of news from us. And I'd say keep your eye on lots of things going on in the Guyana Shield and Suriname in particular. It's become a much more hot topic jurisdiction, and it's nice that we have other people working down there and lots more news flow, keeping attention on the region. It's going to be a very, very important part of the global gold, I'd say, discovery news flow over the next several years.
Mm-hmm. No, excellent. Yeah, thank you, Colin. And Katie, maybe I'll risk saying thank you to you, but thank you very much, and we'll talk to you both again soon.
Yeah, thanks, man. Cheers.